Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to find out just how well I know history. And I can tell you as someone who's made it through the education system here in the United States that I do not know it well. Okay? So let's find out. The Roman Empire. Which of these is not true? A. Romans used piss to brush their teeth and clean their laundry. That sounds about right to me. I don't know why. So most of these are true, is what you're saying. One of them is false. Okay, this one feels true. You know, I don't know how piss is going to help you clean your shirt, but that one just feels right. B. Some wealthy Romans had slaves whose only job was to fart for entertainment. I don't know if that's true, but I could tell you if I was a wealthy Roman, I would have had 3. I would have had 3 of those farting slaves. I don't know if that's good to say on the internet. Emperor Caligula tried to make a law requiring all citizens to yell compliments at him whenever he walked by. This feels like an emperor type of thing. You know, like he was out one day and no one said hi to him. And he's like, you know what? Make everyone say nice things. Say I lost some weight and I look good. D. Roman men used olive oil as lube for sex and exercise. That makes sense. It is oil. I think the Romans did a little bit of the backdoor rumble. So, it makes sense that there would need to be some sort of oil involved. Lube, I should say. The one that feels not true is the farting for entertainment. The farting slaves. Let's say what it is. Back there, I already fucked this whole video up, so it's fine. But yeah, the farting slaves is probably not the one that's true. It makes sense that the emperor would be like full of themselves. Whenever you see them in movies and history and stuff, it's usually like very self-indulgent, so that makes sense. Piss to brush your teeth. You know, they don't always have access to running water. Maybe you got to piss on the thing and just get a little blah, 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 blah. I think maybe in a pinch I would do that as well. If I was desperate to brush my teeth, I can't just brush my teeth with a dry toothbrush. I'd be like, let me get this a little wet with piss. So maybe that. And then olive oil for sex. That does make sense. I'm going to say that there weren't farting slaves. There was farting slaves? C is false. Caligula, he tried to make a law requiring all citizens to yell compliments. That didn't happen? You're telling me there was farting slaves for entertainment. Like, hey, sit there and do a fart. Farting has always been funny. That's what I'm learning. That farting has always been a form of entertainment. I'm glad I know that little tidbit now, because every time I fart and someone complains, I'd be like, listen, man, this goes back to the Romans. Next up, we have medical history. Which of these is not true? A. Medieval Europeans believed that touching a menstruating woman could cure diseases. This would make sense. I mean, we've seen throughout history that men hate women. So it feels like maybe this is not true, but it makes sense to me, because if you saw a woman give birth, you'd be like, yo, this bitch is magic. And like, this is a god, they have powers and shit. A human came out of that. And she's just chilling now. Now she's just walking around town. Like, that's kind of crazy. So I would feel like a menstruating woman, you'd be like, oh, it's magic time. That's what they called ovulating back in the day. It was just like, it's magic time. And they would try to, hold on to her hand, and maybe that would make it rain or whatever they cared about back then. In Victorian England, some women were treated for hysteria by doctors giving them orgasms. You're telling me that women went to the doctor for hysteria, and the doctors are like, I could fuck you. That's the best I could do. That's all you got, doc? Penis? Certain Renaissance healers reportedly believed that drinking owl blood could cure depression. See, this makes sense too, because owls, I feel like, are, they're like the wise creatures. And we didn't make that up. Someone along the line made up like owls. They're very wise and they're smart and their heads turn all the way around or whatever the fuck. But so drinking the blood of a wise animal, you would assume that would have. But also in the Renaissance, did they even acknowledge that depression existed? You know what I mean? I feel like that's a new thing. In the 18th century, doctors believed smelling farts could cure headaches. Back to farts? Maybe that makes sense. They knew that there's like an ammonia or something. Like, you know how like smelling salts will like wake up people and like, oh shit, like, maybe a fart could do that as well. And it'd be like, yo, just distract you with the fart. You won't even think about your headache type of. I can't believe any of these are medical history, honestly. The menstruating woman one feels real. The doctors giving women orgasms also just, I don't know why that feels real. The owl blood. See, the only red flag with the owl blood is like, the Renaissance wasn't really a time where we were drinking blood to cure things. That feels like a much older, or like a mythical way to deal with a problem. Also, depression? I don't know. When was the Renaissance? I don't think that we were like being like, oh, they're depressed, leave them alone. It was just kind of like you made something else up, you know what I mean? If the other things are true, it was like the doctors are fucking the women in the Victorian era in England. They're not going to be like, oh, you got depressed? Oh, might as well drink some blood. And also, we've seen that the farts have been in history for a number of years now because of the last one. I'm going to say that the owl blood is the one that is not true. Correct! See, that's what it is. I knew that they didn't care about depression back then. Next, we have Abraham Lincoln. Which of these is true? I know a little bit about Abraham. I think I'm going to get this one. Abraham Lincoln was a licensed bartender. They weren't licensed back then. What were they drinking? Licensed? Get the fuck out of here. The guy was you're either a bartender or you're not a bartender. There was no like, hey, you got to be licensed in order. What are you talking about? I made this in the basement 10 minutes ago, and it's going to kill you. Like, there's no licenses right now. Abraham Lincoln once wrestled a bear for entertainment at a county fair. I know that he was like a wrestler, so I don't know if this is true. A bear, though, my guy? That doesn't feel good. Like, you're losing to a bear. I know he was like a big, gangly guy or whatever, but like, there's no way you're taking out a bear, dude. That's Russian shit. Maybe if he was Russian, but he wasn't. You know, he's just honest Abe. Abraham Lincoln was allegedly caught giving oral sex to his wife's brother. That would be devastating to the conservatives to find that out. That would be devastating to be like, not that one. No way. Abraham Lincoln had a very severe case of gonorrhea that had to be treated regularly. We're talking about our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. If anyone had gonorrhea back then, you just gonorrhea'd. You know what I'm saying? Treated regularly. They were kind of like, bro, chill. This just means I fuck. You know what I mean? This just means I've had sex. It's cool to have gonorrhea back then. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's wrestled a bear. There's no way there's a licensed bartender. That's not a thing back then. I'm going to say the true thing is that we caught Abraham Lincoln sucking his wife's brother's yangadang. And if that's true, hold on to your horses, folks. He was a licensed bartender? What year was this? 1833, and they required a license? I am shocked by this. So, wow, Abraham Lincoln is the only licensed bartender out of all of the presidents that we've had so far. And it feels like we are trending in a direction where we will get another licensed bartender. I feel like we will get that. This is a mixed batch history. Here we go. Which one of these is true? Cleopatra had a personal team of dolphins trained to deliver messages. Oh my God, I hope to God that's true. Wasn't Cleopatra Egypt? Dolphins in Egypt. I don't think Greg thought about that one. I know. They're like landlocked. Isn't Egypt landlocked? Am I making that up? I think it's touching the coast. Fuck. Viking warriors allegedly masturbated together before battle to make sure that no one would get distracted by sexual fantasies during battle. Dude, I don't know much about the Vikings. I would like to do a deep dive on the history of Vikings one day. Greg, you can recommend a book. I'm sure you've read stuff like this. But this feels like real. This feels like Vikings were like, yo, we're going to all have like the same name basically and like wear like horns and just beat our dicks, but like men, like together, like everyone fucking beat it now hard and then go into battle and kill everyone. You know what I'm saying? They did everything together. In medieval France, people believed sleeping in the nude resulted in better overall health. I still kind of feel that way. The other night I slept naked and I don't even know why, because I don't do that because I don't love it, but I did sleep naked and I slept beautifully. I do think that sleeping in the nude probably is better overall for your health, because I think that when your body can regulate your temperature better, then you sleep better, and sleep is part of health. So there you go. D, a common punishment for women in the Persian Empire was to have all the men of the village line up and pinch their nipples. Well, obviously Greg was often edible when he made these up, because there's no way that one's true. Okay, the dolphins, that doesn't feel right. I don't think there's any dolphins in Egypt. Vikings absolutely mashing their yangs together feels right. Medieval France, I mean, they are a naked people. They are a sexual naked people who love cigarettes. I'm going to say the true one is the Vikings beating their things. Oh, it's the sleep. I even gave a medical answer as to why. I got distracted. That's what it is. I should have beat my dick with my Viking friends, and I would have got that right if I was here afterwards. That's what it is. I was distracted by my sexual fantasies. Fuck. The next topic is Hitler. Thank you, Greg, for making me say that. We are now demonetized. Which of these is true about good old Hitler? Hitler once tried to patent a board game that involved conquering Europe with miniature soldiers. No fucking way that's true. There's no fucking way that's true. I'm not even considering that one, so let's get that out of the way. Hitler's nephew fought for the U.S. Navy in World War II, but they're from Austria. Why would he be in the U.S. Navy? But would you make that up? Hitler was rumored to have a phobia of balloons and avoided any party or celebration that had them. Okay, but I don't really know anything about Hitler. Hitler reportedly only had sex while remaining mostly fully clothed, including his boots. Now, again, I've only seen pictures of the guy, but he looks like a weird fuck. You know, so that feels right. I wouldn't be surprised if Hitler never had sex, to be honest with you. That feels also right. I'm going to say that the thing that's true is that he had a phobia of balloons. He was scared of balloons. I think that's the one I'm going with. Yeah, he was scared of balloons. His nephew fought for the U.S. Navy. So Hitler had a nephew that was born in England and ended up in the U.S. Navy in World War II. Interesting. The balloons did get me. It did sound real because, you hear like little things about Hitler where it was like, I heard something one time that he was rumored to have like injected like bull semen into his shit because he like thought it made him like more masculine, and it's like, bro, you're a bitch. No amount of bull semen is gonna make you more manly, dude. Before we move forward, we do have a sponsor for this video, and that is Rocket Money. Okay, Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that is going to put money back in your pocket by finding and canceling unwanted subscriptions. They're going to help you budget with a budgeting tool, and they can help lower your bills with a feature with that where you just take a picture of your bill, you upload it to the app, and they can help you lower it if it's possible, okay? So it's all about putting money back in your pocket, and it's a great tool even if you think you're the most responsible person in the world. It's nice to know, and you have peace of mind by going on to rocketmoney.com and seeing all your expenses out there in the open, and maybe you can make a decision like, I've been paying for this for the last few months, haven't really used it. Maybe I can get rid of that, and over the course of a year, you're saving yourself a lot of money. They have a ton of members, over 5 million members, and they have saved them a ton of money, okay? So you can be one of the 5 million members that are saving money with Rocket Money or putting the money back in their pocket, honestly. And if you go to rocketmoney.com/Joe, you can get started for free. So go to rocketmoney.com/Joe to get started for free. Put the money back in your pocket, folks, okay? What's an extra couple of $100 in your pocket? Maybe. Who knows? We've all made mistakes and signed up for free trials back in the day, and maybe you're paying for it accidentally. We don't know. But go to rocketmoney.com/Joe to get started for free and enjoy. Oh, ancient Greece. Here we go. Which of these is not true? A, Spartan couples had trial marriages where the woman could refuse her husband after a short period if she was unsatisfied. Wow. So that's just dating. Spartan soldiers were traditionally lined up for battle in the size order of their penises. Soldiers with the largest members would be first in line. That makes a lot of sense. Let's put the big, heavy dong guys in the front because they can take a beating. Maybe. And let's put the little dick dudes in the back and let them shoot bow and arrows, And the Spartans were good soldiers, and if that one ends up being true, they may have been onto something. Some Greek athletes competed completely naked in the Olympics. That would be a very Greek thing to do. I don't know if that's allowed, but it feels... Oh, the Olympics, they date back all the way. So maybe. Maybe like the swimmers were like, I'm not going to have clothes to... They barely wore clothes anyway. It was like a fucking handkerchief that they were wearing that they took from a restaurant. Like, they don't need clothes. Many Greek drinking parties, called symposiums, included flirtatious games and sexual dares. Kind of like college parties now. That feels super real. I mean, the Greeks were very sexual people who were naked, and, they were very in touch with that. This all feels like it could be true. Surprisingly enough, I'm going to say that the thing that's not true is A. Because I think that although trial marriages, dating, makes a lot of sense to eventually for, civilizations to get to, I don't believe it would start with the Spartans. I think they were very traditional people. I'm just going with A. I don't know. The answer is B. Fuck! I got burnt by the dick again! So the Spartans weren't lined up by their penis size. In hindsight, that feels obvious. I shouldn't have thought that was true. Now we're in ancient Egypt. Here we go. Which of these is true? Many ancient Egyptians believed that making love to their cats would bring good luck, since cats were seen as godlike creatures. I've heard that before about cats being these godlike creatures, and that the Egyptians believed in that, so I'm inclined to believe that, but it's also an easy lie to make up. Cleopatra allegedly hosted wine-fueled naked poetry nights for visiting diplomats. Fire. I also would like to host something similar. This sounds fucking sick, except I am not visited by diplomats. That's the only thing. Some pharaohs were buried with dancers and servants who were expected to pleasure them in the afterlife. This sounds very real as well. I know that a big thing with pharaohs that we buried with a lot of things, that it's like the belief was they were going to take all of that to the afterlife. It would make sense that they would bury them with like servants, unfortunately, who were buried alive with a fucking carcass right there. That sounds horrible. But who's going to serve? Who's going to serve in the afterlife? I'm going to get there by myself? No, I need you. D, the pyramids have glory holes inside them. All right, I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for this. That seems so out of left field that it feels like Greg didn't make it up. It feels like that's the only one that sounds made up. Oh, it's which of these is true. That's why. Okay. Well, oh, fuck. I'm going to say Cleopatra hosting those wine-fueled naked poetry nights sounds like it could be half true. I'm sure she had these naked parties, but were there poetry? Does anyone care? I don't think so. They're not really the poetic people. They have naked parties. There's wine for sure. Is it a poetry night? What is this? Bushwick? I'm going to say C. I'm going to say the pharaohs were buried with dancers and servants who are expected to pleasure them in the afterlife. Give it to me, Greg. Give me C, baby. Game! Back on the board! Those were good guesses, though. I couldn't in good faith sit here and be like, the Egyptians were fucking cats. I could not think that's true. The topic now is Joe Santagato. In the 2015 hit video, the 2015 hit video is like VH1, by Joe Santagato, How to Get Over Your Ex, which piece of advice was not given? 1, masturbate. That feels like I gave that advice. Just beat it before you think about it. 2, get less gross. Obviously. You come out of a breakup, let's focus on ourselves. Let's get into shape. Let's get healthy. That feels good. 3, don't talk shit about them. Still something that I think is very important. I think when people go their separate ways in life, it's very sad to talk shit. Even if someone has done something wrong to you, I think is bad taste. Don't do it. 4, unfollow them on social media. I think I did say that back then. Oh, God. Now I can't remember which one I didn't say. Number 5, don't drunk text them after the breakup. I mean, that feels fucking obvious, right? You don't get drunk and be like, oh, we broke up. Like, you can't do that. And 6, don't swing your meat around. Also good advice. I'm not one of those people that's like, the best way to get over someone is to fucking fuck other people. Like, feel the emotions. Let yourself be sad. It will be helpful. Maybe it's the unfollow them on social media. Only because now that I'm thinking logically about this, I don't know how to make that funny in a video. To say, like, don't unfollow them. Or unfollow them. I'm saying unfollow them on social media. It's 4 or 5. It's... You know what? Give me unfollow them on social media. Fuck, it's 5! How did I get it wrong? It was from 30 years ago I made that video, dude.
And the next thing is, delete their fucking face. This is a button. I'm an artist, guys. I know that sounds immature, but listen, guys, we live in a world that's technology based. You can't go through a breakup and then see them on Instagram smiling and having fun and shit.
Well, got that wrong. All right, next we have a topic that I am so good at. Winston Churchill. Which is true. Churchill held drinking contests with foreign diplomats to test their stamina. Okay, that feels like it's up his alley. He trained his dog to fetch cigars and a lighter. This guy is a fucking animal. He had a pet lion that he would walk on a leash. All right, who is this guy? Like, no fucking way. That's Mike Tyson, dude. That's not Winston Churchill. Several women have made claims that Churchill had a micro penis. Okay, all of these things check out. Let's go through the math here. A dude who holds drinking contests and he fetches his dog to get cigars and a lighter. We know what kind of guy this is. We know that women are like, dude's compensating for something, and it's the tiny yang. I don't believe that he had a pet lion that he would walk on a leash. Come on, give me a fucking break, Winston. I'm going to say, oh, this is which is true. Now that makes it a lot harder. Oh, the micro penis is true. Winston Churchill had a micro penis. You heard it here first. Greg, fucking tell me I'm right, baby. Here we go. And I'm wrong. Fuck. Oh, it's the lion? The one that I thought was wrong. All of these are made up? And he had a lion? Wow. Unbelievable. Winston Churchill. I was very confident that he had a micro penis based on nothing. It just took an energy that came into the room and took over me. I'm wrong, though. I fucked that one up. Sorry, Winston. You're dead. It's fine. All right. Mixed batch history. Here we go, which is not true. Napoleon was once attacked by bunnies and had to retreat. Come on. In 1932, Australia declared war on emus and the humans lost. That feels about right in Australia, dude. Albert Einstein taught squirrels to perform basic math as an experiment. Oh, God. During the Civil War, the North hired women with STDs to sleep with Southern generals. God damn. If that's fucking... That feels smart. That feels smart, honestly. Australia declaring a war on emus and losing feels very real. That feels very real. Albert Einstein teaching squirrels, that feels real too, but it feels like that's like, it's not like they're over there doing fucking long division or something. It's like, oh, bring this nut over here and add that. Like, I would say the thing that's not true is, I'm going to say Napoleon was attacked by bunnies. That's not true. And he had to retreat. 2 of these are not true, and I got it wrong again? Albert Einstein didn't teach squirrels, and the North didn't hire women to sleep with Southern generals, which feels like a missed opportunity because that would have worked. Napoleon was attacked and defeated by a horde of bunnies. Dude, that's embarrassing. The Great Emu War. Bro, if animals of like that decided that they're gonna run at you, what are you realistically gonna do? You can't get all of them, bro. They're like fucking zombies. Next, we have George Washington. All right, I know a decent amount about George Washington, which is not true. George Washington owned slaves while simultaneously leading a fight for freedom. That feels true, unfortunately, for the times. He wore dentures made of a mixture of human, cow, and hippopotamus. I know there was human and like horse. Hippopotamus? How are you going to get a hippo's tooth in your mouth, dude? They have fucking huge faces. He would often wear women's wigs and clothing to confuse spies. Washington owned a distillery and produced and sold whiskey. All right. Which of these is not true? I'm fucking guaranteeing a win right now. I'm guaranteeing a win because they think I'm fucking stupid. He did not own a distillery and sell whiskey. That didn't happen. He did the rest of this weird shit, though. Fuck! He didn't wear women's wigs and whatever. Bro, the wigs that they were wearing back then, those are all women's wigs. I didn't know that George Washington had a whiskey. I thought they were trying to throw me off with that. Like, oh, that's an obvious one. 1799, he had a distillery. I bet that tastes like shit, dude. You're telling me this dude had hippos in his mouth, too? That's fucking crazy. Ivory. Yeah. He would often wear women's wigs and clothing to confuse spies. There probably weren't even spies back then, to be honest with you, Huh? They were mad spies. I'm wrong again. All right, last question. I have to get it right. This is the history of sex, okay? If I get this wrong, I don't deserve a wiener. Okay, which is not true. In Victorian England, married women were given marital duty manuals to instruct them on sex and how to please their husbands. Here, ma'am, take a brochure on how to suck it. The first ever dildo was found in a cave in Germany and is 30,000 years old. Whoa, dude. Vikings would often have fertility battles to see who would impregnate the most women in a month. Again, feels like a Viking thing, you know? Did we debunk the masturbating thing? Was that real or no? It was fake, but it feels real. In the early Catholic Church, they would test aspiring priests by making them listen to a series of erotic stories. And if you did not get an erection, you were admitted into priesthood. Which of these is not true? I really do believe that in Victorian England, they would hand them instructions. Here's how to please your husband. I mean, we already learned earlier in the video that they would come in for hysteria and the doctors would be like, I'll have sex with you. So sexual people, I'm sure they had manuals. Come on. The first ever dildo, that feels real. Vikings having a fertility off. That also feels like, a very dated way of like a dick measuring contest. Like, I bet my seed is better than your seed type of thing. I'm going to say that I'm going to say D. The Catholic Church, they wouldn't test priests by making them listen to a series of erotic stories. You're telling me someone would walk in the room and just like tell a story about, and then Ezekiel took down her dress, and then he's like, oh shit. And they're like, nah, chill, you're horny. Like, I don't believe that. They were also all horny anyway, bro. Show me. First of all, I was going to say show me D, which is crazy. But show me that the right answer is D, Greg. Thank you, God. I redeemed myself, folks. Here we are. We're back. Okay, we're back on the board. That's how you end a video. History of sex. Your boy knows it, okay? But thank you guys so much for sticking around and enjoying this video. Now you've found out that I'm not very good at history, all right? I got to brush up on my historical facts, and I will do so. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.